This
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivachari Om Patam Om Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
Jai
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram.
Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री साधु गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री साधु गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीपाद गौरव हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
कृष्ण राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Raja Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, Lavanya, Anat Pranam, Harvi Guru Shishila Prabhupada Gurudev. So, another 8 minutes. We will just hear Gajendra Moksham prayers. Okay, I am putting that video. Just 8 minutes. Let us meditate upon the prayers. Yeah, I'm sharing. Just a second. Time.
Shri Gajendra Uvacha Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yada Etachidatmakam Purushaya Divijaya Pareshaya Vidhimahi Yasmin Nidam Yataschedam Yenedam Yaidam Swayam Yosmat Parasmat Chaparastam Prapadye Swayam Bhuvam Yasvatmanidam Nijamayayapitam Kvachit Vibhatam Kvachatatirohitam Avidha दृक्साक्षुहयं तरीक्षते स आत्ममूलो वतु मां परात्परः कालेन पञ्चत्वमितेषु कृत्स्नषु लोकेषु पालेषु च सर्वहेतुषु तमस्तदासीत् गहनं गभीरम् यस्तस्य वारेभिविराजते विभुः न यस्य देवा ऋषयः पदं विदुर् जन्तुः पुनः कोऽर्हति गन्तुमीरितुम् यथा नदस्याकृतिभिर्विचेष्टतो दुरत्ययानुक्रमणः समावतु विरुक्षवो यस्पदं सुमङ्गलम् विमुक्तसङ्गा मुनयः सुसाधवः चरन्त्यलोकप्रथमवृणं वने भूतात्मभूताः सुहृदः समे गतिः न विद्यते यस्य च जन्म कर्म वा न नामरूपे गुणदोष एव वा तथापि लोकाप्ययसम्भवायया स्वमायया तान्यनुकालमृच्छति तस्मै नमः परेशाय ब्रह्मणेऽनन्तशक्तये अरूपायोरुरूपाय नम आश्चर्यकर्मणे नम आत्मप्रदीपाय साक्षिणे परमात्मने नमो गिरां विदूराय मनसश्चेतसामपि सत्त्वेन प्रतिलभ्याय नैष्कर्म्येन विपश्चिता नमः कैवल्यनाथाय निर्वाणसुखसंविदे नमः शान्ताय घोराय मूढाय गुणधर्मिणे निर्विशेषाय साम्याय नमो ज्ञानघनाय च क्षेत्रज्ञाय नमस्तुभ्यं सर्वाध्यक्षाय साक्षिणे पुरुषायात्ममूलाय मूलप्रकृतये नमः सर्वेन्द्रियगुणद्रष्ट्रे सर्वप्रत्ययहेतवे असताच्छाय योक्ताय सदाभासाय ते नमः नमो नमस्तेऽखिलकारणाय निष्कारणाय अद्भुतकारणाय सर्वागमाम्नाय महार्णवाय नमोपवर्गाय परायणाय गुणारणिच्छन्नचिदुष्मपाय तत्क्षोभविस्फूर्जितमानसाय नैष्कर्म्यभावेन विवर्जितागम स्वयं प्रकाशाय नमस्करोमि मातृप्रपन्नपशुपाशविमोक्षणाय मुक्ताय भूरिकरुणाय नमोलयाय स्वांशेन सर्वतनुभृन्मनसि प्रतीत प्रत्यदृशे भगवते बृहते नमस्ते आत्मात्मजाप्तगृहवित्तजनेषु सक्ते दुष्प्रावणाय गुणसङ्गविवर्जिताय मुक्तात्मभिस्वहृदये परिभाविताय ज्ञानात्मने भगवते नम ईश्वराय यं धर्मकामार्थविमुक्तिकामा भजन्त यष्टां गतिमाप्नुवन्ति किं चाशिशोराद्यपि देहमव्ययम् करोतु मे दभ्रदयो विमोक्षणम् एकान्तिनो यस्य न कञ्चनार्थम् वाञ्छन्ति ये वै भगवत्प्रपन्नाः अत्यद्भुतं तच्चरितं सुमङ्गलम् गायन्त आनन्दसमुद्रमग्नाः तमक्षरं ब्रह्म परं परेशम् अव्यक्तमाध्यात्मिकयोगगम्यम् अतीन्द्रियं सूक्ष्ममिवातिदूरम् अनन्तमाद्यं परिपूर्णमीडे यस्य ब्रह्मादयो देवा वेदा लोकाश्चराचराः नामरूपविभेदेन फल्ग्याचकलया कृताः यथार्चिषोऽग्ने सवितुर्गभस्तयो निर्यान्ति संयान्ति असकृत्स्वरोचिषः तथा यतोऽयं गुणसम्प्रवाहो बुद्धिर्मनः खानि शरीरसर्गाः न देवासुरमर्त्यदिव्यन् न स्त्री न षण्ढो न पुमान् न जन्तुः नायं गुणः कर्म न सन्न चासन् निषेधशेषो जयदादशेषः जिजीविषेणाहमिहामुया किम् अन्तर्बहिश्चावृतये भयोऽन्या इच्छामि कालेन न यस्य विप्लव तस्यात्मलोकाभरणस्य मोक्षम् सोऽहं विश्वसृजं विश्वं विश्वं विश्ववेदसं विश्वात्मानमजं ब्रह्म प्रणतोऽस्मि परं परम् योगरन्धितकर्माणो हृदि योगविभाविते योगिनो यं प्रपश्यन्ति योगेशं तं नतोऽस्म्यहम् नमो नमस्तुभ्यमसह्यवेग शक्तित्रयायाखिलधीगुणाय प्रपन्नपालाय दुरन्तशक्तये तदिन्द्रियाणामनवाप्यवर्त्मने नायं वेद स्वमात्मानं यच्चत्याहं धिया हतम् तं दुरत्ययमाहात्म्यं भगवन्तमिदोऽस्म्यहम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna. So actually, yesterday I told you, right? Bhagavad Gita's 12th chapter, Gajendra Moksham prayers, Sikshastakam prayers, and Gopi Gita. These 4 prayers, devotees reside in this month of Kartik. And our, Nitai Sevini Mataji, in their group, in Visakhapatnam, they do every day. So let us see. We will also practice over time. We'll start with Mangalacharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12. Let me share. Okay, yesterday we started. Continue. Text 34. Yeah. So Canto 1 entitled as Creation, Chapter 12, Birth of Maharaj Parikshit in this chapter. So then text 34. Parikshit, then 34. Yeah. Mata is please start. Yeah. Translation, then purport. Text 34. Deepa Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. By those riches, the king could procure the ingredients for 3 horse sacrifices. Thus the pious king Yudhishthira, who was very fearful after the battle of Kurukshetra, pleased Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. Purport. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the ideal and celebrated pious king of the world, and still he was greatly afraid after the execution of the battle of Kurukshetra because of the mass killing in the fight, all of which was done only to install him on the throne. He therefore took all the responsibility for sins committed in the warfare, and to get rid of all these sins, he wanted to perform 3 sacrifices in which horses are offered at the altar. Such a sacrifice is very costly. Even Maharaj Yudhishthira had to collect the necessary heaps of gold left by Maharaj Marutta and the Brahmanas who were given gold in charity by King Marutta. The learned Brahmanas could not take away all the loads of gold given by Maharaja Marutta, and therefore they left behind the major portion of the gift. And Maharaja Marutta also did not again collect such heaps of gold given away in charity. Besides that, all the golden plates and utensils which were used in the sacrifice were also thrown in the dustbins. All such heaps of gold remained unclaimed property for a long time, till Maharaja Yudhishthira collected them for his own purposes. Lord Sri Krishna advised the brothers of Maharaja Yudhishthira to collect the unclaimed property because it belonged to the king. The more astonishing thing is that no subject of the state also collected such unclaimed gold for industrial enterprise or anything like that. This means that the state citizens were completely satisfied with all necessities of life and therefore not inclined to accept unnecessary productive enterprises for sense gratification. Maharaja Yudhishthira also requisitioned the heaps of gold for performing sacrifices and for pleasing the Supreme, Hari, the personality of Godhead. Otherwise, he had no desire to collect them for the state treasury. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
ఇంకో paragraph చదవండి. Big purport ఉంది. ఇంకో
Yeah.
paragraph.
One should take lessons from the acts of Maharaja Yudhishthira. He was afraid of sins committed on the battlefield, and therefore he wanted to satisfy the supreme authority. This indicates that unintentional sins are also committed in our daily occupational discharge of duties, and to counteract even such unintentional crimes, one must perform sacrifices as they were recommended in the revealed scriptures. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yagnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana, that one must perform sacrifices recommended in the scriptures in order to get rid of commitments of all unauthorized work or even unintentional crimes which we are apt to commit. By doing so, one shall be freed from all kinds of sins. And those who do not do so, but work for self-interest or sense gratification, have to undergo all tribulations accrued from committed sins. Therefore, the main purpose of performing sacrifices is to satisfy the Supreme Personality, Hari. The process of performing sacrifices may be different in terms of different times, places, and persons, but the aim of such sacrifices is one and the same at all times and in all circumstances, which is satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Hari. That is the way of pious life, and that is the way of peace and prosperity in the world at large. Maharaja Yudhishthira did all these as the ideal pious king of the world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Samyukta Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
If Maharaja Yudhishthira is a sinner in his daily discharge of duties in royal administration of state affairs, wherein killing of man and animals is a recognized art, then we can just imagine the amount of sins committed consciously or unconsciously by the untrained population of the Kali Yuga, who have no way to perform sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord. The Bhagavatam says, therefore, that the prime duty of the human being is to satisfy the Supreme Lord by the performance of one's occupational duty. Bhagavatam 1.2.13. Let any man of any place or community, caste or creed be engaged in any sort of occupational duty, but he must agree to perform sacrifices as it is recommended in the scriptures for the particular place, time, and person. In the Vedic literatures, it is recommended that in Kali Yuga, people engage in glorifying the Lord by chanting the holy name of Krishna. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet, without offense. By doing so, one can be freed from all sins and thus can attain the highest perfection of life by returning home back to Godhead. We have already discussed this more than once in this great literature in different places, especially in the introductory portion by sketching the life of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And still we are repeating the same with a view to bring about peace and prosperity in society. The Lord has declared openly in Bhagavad Gita how he becomes pleased with us, and the same process is practically demonstrated in the life and preaching work of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The perfect process of performing yajnas or sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead, who gets us free from all miseries of existence, is to follow the ways of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this dark age of quarrel and dissension. Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Inko paragraph చదవండి.
Okay, Prabhuji. Maharaja Yudhishthira had to collect heaps of gold to secure the paraphernalia for the horse sacrifices yagnas in days of sufficiency. So we can hardly think of such performance of yagnas in these days of insufficiency. and complete scarcity of gold. At the present moment, we have heaps of papers and promises of their being converted into gold by economic development of modern civilization. And still there is no possibility of spending riches like Maharaja Yudhishthira, either individually or collectively or by state patronization. Just as suitable, therefore, for this age is the method recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in terms of the Shastra. Such a method requires no expenditure at all and yet can award more benefit than other expensive methods of yajna performances. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Sandhya Mataji, please read. Complete this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The horse sacrifice yajna or cow sacrifice yajna performed by the Vedic regulations should not be misunderstood as a process of killing animals. On the contrary, animals offered for the yajna were rejuvenated to a new span of life by the transcendental power of chanting the Vedic hymns, which if properly chanted, and different from what is understood by the common layman. The Veda mantras are practical and the proof of rejuvenation of the sacrificed animal. There is no possibility of such methodical chanting of the Vedic hymns by the so-called Brahmanas or priests of the present age. The untrained descendants of the twice-born families are no more like their forefathers, and thus they are counted amongst the Shudras, or once-born men. The once-born man is unfit to chant the Vedic hymns, and therefore there is no practical utility of the chanting the original hymns. And to save them all, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pronounced the Sankirtana movement or yajna for all the practical purposes. And the people of the present age are strongly recommended to follow this sure and recognized path.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Giriraj Prabhu. Giriraj Prabhu. Sorry, bro. Just wanted to add one thing, bro.
Yes.
Here, from the start, from the start of this purport, Prabhupada generally says, Yudhishthira Maharaj has taken responsibility of the war and all. See, the only thing which he has received for 86 years is all the backlashes. Like in every attempt, Duryodhana is trying to demean them and to kill them and all. And after that, it happened. Their sins accrued in such a way that 14 crore people has lost their lives in the battle. And this person is taking the, all that sins onto us. That it is my greed. So in no way he is not responsible for all those things. That is Kali personified, who is Duryodhana has done all this mischief. And for 89 years of planning, what he could do only 30 years. He could rule 30 years. And after 30 years, he gave it to Parikshit. So many people actually, the Mahabharata readers, they say, is it worth it actually? For 30 years, he has done in 86 years of all these things. War and 14 crores of people lost, manpower loss and all. This is what general historical Bhagavatam, Mahabharata readers say. Even the Vedic Mahabharata readers say this. It is not a good cost proposition. Like 36 or 32 years of ruling doesn't need this much of bloodbath. That's what they say. But Prabhuji, the Bhagavata say, a dharmic person, even if he rules for one day, the whole people who left their bodies on that day will go directly to Vaikuntha. That is assured. So 30 years of rule, whoever passed away in those 30 years are perfect, that they are eligible to reach to Vaikuntha. That's why Krishna want to place it as a king. A dharmic king's, power is such that whoever leaves the body in that kingdom will leave directly, go back home, back to Godhead.
Correct.
So that is the importance of the dharmic kings.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, అర్థం కాదు Prabhuji. 86 years ఏంటి Prabhuji? 32 years ఈ రూల్ యుధిష్ఠిర
For the 36 of years of rule,
32
he
years
planned for 86 years. Krishna planned actually for 86 years. How to make this person as a king, how I should make this person of a kingdom of earth.
Okay.
ఆ 30 ఏళ్ళు పాలించడానికి 86 ఏళ్ళ ప్లానింగ్ పట్టింది కృష్ణకి.
ఓకే ఓకే ప్రభుజీ, అర్థమైంది.
So all these 86 years, he was struggled. Everyone struggled, na? All the Pandavas struggled. Krishna struggled. Krishna with the Jarasandha, and this person's with all these, others. So everyone struggled. Everyone struggled, but only 30 years of rule. So the glorious years are only 30 years. After that, Parikshit came, and Parikshit has ruled for 90 years more. That is other thing. But why all these things happened? So that Yudhishthira Maharaj should become the king, na? And he couldn't rule. He couldn't rule for long. So generally, case study people say it is not a good proposition if there is so much of bloodbath and all. But Bhagavatas say even 1 day of rule of a glorious king is more than enough.
ఓకే ప్రభు. యా, అన్ని సంవత్సరాల యూనో లాస్ట్లీ ఆ బ్యాటిల్ ఫీల్డ్ లో జరిగి అంతమంది చనిపోవడానికి, సో ఇదంతా కూడా మళ్ళీ ఈ 32 అంటే ప్రపోజిషన్ ఇట్లా అంటే 32 సంవత్సరాల కోసం అంత చేయాల్సిన అవసరమా ప్రభు?
Yes. అంత చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు ఈ 30 సంవత్సరాల రూలింగ్ కి. I don't know what kind of proposition Krishna made. I don't know how he is, supreme personality when he has done all these things. So this is the points which they keep proposing. Generally, the Mayavadis and all, they say like this. So we should be very clear why he has done 30 years. 1 day is also enough, more than enough actually. This is what devotees say.
Yeah. ధర్మరాజు, అందుకే ఆయన పేరు ఇంకోటి యుధిష్ఠిర ధర్మరాజు అంటారు ప్రభు.
Sir, Prabhuji, in all our places we call only Dharmaraj. After coming to ISKCON, I know that he has a second name also.
Okay. Thank you for sharing this. Okay. ఒకరోజు ఆ రాజసింహాసనంలో ఉన్న కూడా there is a lot of good prevail in this.
See, whoever left their body, irrespective of jivas, they will reach back home, back to Godhead. That is what Krishna wanted, na? So earlier he was killing individually and making them, reach the personality of Godhead, back to Godhead. But if king sits, the whole kingdom goes. Wholesale, na?
ఎట్లా ప్రభుజీ? అంటే అదే అంతకుముందు చనిపోయిన వాళ్ళ, లేకుంటే అప్పుడు రూల్ చేసిన టైంలో ఎవరైతే లెఫ్ట్ చేస్తారో, బాడీ లెఫ్ట్ చేస్తారో వాళ్ళు వైకుంఠకి వెళ్తారా, లేకుంటే ఆ కింగ్డమ్ మొత్తంలో అంటే ఎట్లా ప్రభుజీ? అది అర్థం కాలేదు.
Whoever is in his kingdom, వాళ్ళ కింగ్డమ్ లో ఉండి ఎవరైతే మొత్తం ప్రాణం వదులుతారో they directly reach back home, back to Godhead.
అంటే when he is ruling that time, లేకుంటే మొత్తం కంప్లీట్ గా ప్రభుజీ? all the time?
No. When he was ruling.
Okay.
అందుకే రాజర్షి అని ఎందుకనేది ప్రభుజీ? ఎందుకనేది రాజర్షి అంటే he has that capability. When Lord Rama was ruling, it was like that only. But Krishna never became king, na? Ugrasen Maharaj was king. He didn't become king. But he wanted Yudhishthira Maharaj to become king. His devotee to take that position. So he wanted to give that credit to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And whoever left the body in those 36 years in the kingdom of Yudhishthira, they all reached back home, back to Godhead.
Okay, bro.
So Prabhuji, Ugrasen తర్వాత కింగ్ ఎవరయ్యారు ప్రభుజీ?
ఉగ్రసేన్ తర్వాత యాక్చువల్లీ మాతాజీ ఇవన్నీ సామంత రాజ్యాలు అన్నమాట. అండర్ ద ఫ్లాగ్షిప్ ఆఫ్ ఇంద్రప్రస్థ, మీన్స్ హస్తిన. who is this one? What we say, our
ధర్మరాజు.
See, actually how it happens, whoever has done that horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha, they will become the main king.
సామంత రాజులు.
వీళ్ళంతా సామంత రాజులు, మిగతా వాళ్ళంతా. సో మాతాజీ, ఇట్స్ నాట్ లైక్ దట్. అంటే మనకు చాలా డౌట్స్ వస్తాయి మాతాజీ కొన్ని చదివితే. లైక్ వి సీ దట్ హస్తినాపురం ఇస్ ద గ్రేటెస్ట్ చక్రవర్తి అని చదువుతాం మనం. 54 kilometers 54 miles ముందుకెళ్తే అక్కడ మథుర వస్తుంది. మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు పెద్ద రాజులు అంటారు మళ్ళీ.
అదే.
So we'll always get confusion. Everyone is a king, great king only. So we should not get confused. See,
అంటే కృష్ణుడు ఎప్పుడు రాజు కాలే కదా, సో వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఎవరు అంటే ఉగ్రసేన్ తర్వాత ఎవరయ్యారు అని. లైక్
యా ఉగ్రసేన్ తర్వాత వీళ్ళు ఎవరు వాళ్ళ మనవడు ఉన్నాడు కదా, వజ్రనాభ అండ్ దే బికేమ్.
సో కృష్ణాస్ మనవడు కదా.
అంతే. సో హీ హెయిల్స్ ద కింగ్డమ్ నా. మిగతా వాళ్ళందరూ ప్రభాస్ కేతులు చంపేశారు కదా కృష్ణ.
అదే ఓహో ఓకే. సో డైరెక్ట్ గా వజ్రనాభకు వచ్చింది.
యా దట్ హస్ బీన్ రూల్డ్ బై వజ్రనాభ. మీన్స్ దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఎస్ కచ్, సౌరాష్ట్ర అండ్ till Mathura. Mataji, when we say he is a Chakravarti, it doesn't mean he will control. It only means that he will inspire. This is what the Vedic traditions means. If he controls now, then how can other kings become great? So he never controls. The Chakravarti of Hastinapur never controls anyone, but only he inspires. At the same time, if there is any wrongdoings happening in the other kingdoms, he will go and correct them. He will have that power.
అంటే నేనేమనుకున్నా అంటే ఇప్పుడు అదే రాజసూయజ్ఞ అయితే ఒక కొన్ని మైల్స్ వరకే వీళ్ళ ఆధిపత్యం ఉంటుంది, తర్వాత మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళది వేరే అని అనుకుంటున్నా. లైక్ వాళ్ళ ప్రోవిన్స్ వేరే, వీళ్ళ ప్రోవిన్స్ వేరే అని.
No Mataji, he will become the kingdom. He will become the king of whole earth, the emperor of the whole earth. But that doesn't mean that he will rule the earth. He will inspire the earth. See, always the Vedic traditions inspire, Mataji. They never control. But if you see the Abrahamic religions, they always, stress on this topic of controlling. The Romans controlled, and they bought this one Abrahamic religion known as Christianity. And the Arabs controlled. They got one more, religion known as Islam. So their religion is completely different, and we are completely different. This is what Sanatana Dharma means. We always inspire, we never control. But our Kshatriyas are also very, very strong, always being followed by the Brahmanas or guided by Brahmanas, that they can control whole earth if they wanted to.
Okay.
By killing the other kingdoms, by removing the other kings. They are such strong. Because they all have the astras, Mataji. All these astras are not only by physical, like in modern, we have only weaponry, like this hydrogen bomb and atomic bomb and all. We have only weapons, but we don't have a power to control them. But earlier, they used to have the weapons, and they also used to have power to control them, when to release it and when not to release it. And if we released it, how to counteract it.
Mantras.
They have all that. They have all that. But here we are only having one thing. We have the,
discharge.
We have the weapons, but we don't have the controlling authority on them if they are released once. But earlier it was not like that. It was different. I'm sorry if I'm extended. It's already 8:30. I'm sorry, bro. Please. No.
It's okay. Good to discuss, bro. You are reading, and whenever we read these purports, you are understanding, you're sharing from different thoughts. That's
యాక్చువల్గా ప్రభుజీ చదువుకుంటా పోతే గుర్తుండదు ప్రభుజీ. ఇట్లా డిస్కస్ చేస్తూ ఉంటేనే ఏది డిస్కస్ చేస్తుంటామో అది చాలా గుర్తుంటాయి ప్రభుజీ.
ఎస్ అట్లా అంటే మన కాల్ రోజుకు చాలాసేపు పెట్టుకోవాలి. జస్ట్ మనం రీడింగే కాబట్టి మధ్య మధ్యలో ప్రభుజీ యాడ్ చేస్తున్నాడు. దట్స్ నైస్. యాక్చువల్లీ ఇది ఓన్లీ 2 verses ఉన్నాయి ఈ చాప్టర్లో. లెట్ us conclude. Lavanya, please go ahead and read.
Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, being invited to the sacrifices by the Maharaj Yudhishthira, saw to it that they were performed by qualified twice-born Brahmanas. After that, for the pleasure of the relatives, the Lord remained a few months. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna was invited by Maharaj Yudhishthira to look into the supervision of the performance of Yajna, and the Lord to abide by the orders of his elderly cousin caused the performance of the Yajnas by learned twice-born Brahmanas. Simply taking birth in the family of a Brahmana does not make one qualified to perform Yajnas. One must be twice born by proper training and initiation from the bona fide Acharya. The once born Scions of Brahmana families are equal with the one born Shudras and such Brahma Bandhus or unqualified ones born Scions must be rejected for any purposes of the religious or Vedic function. Lord Sri Krishna was entrusted to look after this arrangement and perfect as he is. He caused the yagnas to be performed by the bona fide twice born Brahmanas for successful execution. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this is the last one. Raju Prabhu, please chadandi. 36.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation. O Shaunaka, thereafter the Lord, having bade farewell to King Yudhishthira, Draupadi, and other relatives, started for the city of Dwaraka, accompanied by Arjuna and other members of Yadu dynasty. Purport. That's the end of the purports of the first canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Birth of Emperor of Parikshit. Birth of Emperor Parikshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Translation quick గా చదువుదాము. 5 translations. Just yes. చదవండి బ్రో, మీరు ఇంకొక 5 చదవండి.
Okay, translation. Text 1. The sage Shaunaka said, the womb of Uttara Maharaja Parikshit, mother of Maharaj Parikshit, was spoiled by the dreadful and inconceivable Brahmastra weapon released by the Ashwatthama. But Maharaja Parikshit was saved by the Supreme Lord. How was the great Emperor Parikshit, who was a highly intelligent and great devotee, born in that womb? How did his death take place? And what did he achieve after his death? We will respectively wanted to hear about him, Maharaja Parikshit, to whom Sukadeva Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge. Please speak on this matter. Sri Suta Goswami said, Emperor Yudhishthira administrated generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was free from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. News even reached the celestial planets about Maharaja Yudhishthira's worldly positions, the sacrifices by the which he would attain a better destination, his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, his fame, etc. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Lalit Man Prabhu.
ప్రభు నేను ఇవాళ చాలా మాట్లాడాను. లెట్ అదర్స్ డూ ఇట్ ప్లీజ్.
మాట్లాడడానికి చదవడానికి తేడా ఉంది ప్రభు, చదవండి.
Okay, text 6. O Brahmanas, the opulence of the king was so enchanting that the denizens of heaven aspired for it. But because he was observed in the service of the Lord, nothing could satisfy him except the Lord's service. Text 7. O son of Brigu, Shaunaka, when the child Parikshit, the great fighter, was in the womb of his mother Uttara and was suffering from the burning heat of the Brahmastra thrown by Ashwatthama, he could observe the Supreme Lord coming to him. Text 8. He, the Lord, was only Tambhai, but he was all transcendental. He had a very beautiful, blackish, infallible body, and he wore a dress of lightning yellow and a helmet of blazing gold. Thus he was seen by the child. The Lord was enriched with 4 hands, earrings of molten gold, and eyes blood red with fury, as he loitered about. His club constantly encircled him like a shooting star. Text 10. The Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra, just as the sun evaporates a drop of the dew. He was observed by the child, who taught about who he was.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. Let me read some till 15. Text 11. While thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Lord personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once. Text 12. Thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth. Text 13. King Yudhishthira, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaja Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned Brahmanas, headed by Dhaumya and Kripa, recited auspicious hymns. Text 14. Upon the birth of a son, the king, who knew how, where, and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses, and good food, grains to the Brahmanas. Text 15. The learned Brahmanas, who were very satisfied with the charities of the king, addressed him as a chief among the Purus and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from Purus, from the Purus. Okay. Again, Mata, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. The Brahmanas said, "This spotless son has been restored by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, in order to oblige you. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible supernatural weapon." Text 17. For this reason, this child will be well known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that this child will become a first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities. The good King Yudhishthira inquired, O great souls, will he become as saintly a king, as pious in his very name, and as famous and glorified in his achievement as others who appeared in this great royal family? The learned Brahmana said, O son of Pritha, this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahminical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Rama, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaja Dashratha. This child will be munificent, donor of charity, and protector of the surrendered, like the famous King Shibi of the Ushinara country. And he will expand the name and fame of his family like Bharata, the son of Maharaja Dushyanta. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, yeah. Samyukta Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 21. Amongst great bowmen, this child will be as good as Arjuna. He will be as irresistible as fire and as unsurpassable as the ocean. This child will be as strong as a lion and as worthy a shelter as the Himalaya mountains. He will be forbearing like the earth and as tolerant as his parents. This child will be like his grandfather Yudhishthira or Brahma in equanimity of mind. He will be munificent like the lord of the Kailasa hill, Shiva, and he will be the resort of everyone like the supreme personality of Godhead, Narayana, who is even the shelter of the goddess of fortune. This child will be almost as good as Lord Sri Krishna by following in his footsteps. In magnanimity, he will become as great as King Rantideva, and in religion, he will be like Maharaja Yayati. This child will be like Bali Maharaja in patience, a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaja, a performer of many Ashwamedha, horse sacrifices, and a follower of the old and experienced men. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 26. This child will be the father of kings who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome. Text 27. After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by a son of a Brahmana, he will get himself free from all material attachment and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him. Text 28. After inquiring about proper self-knowledge from the son of Vyasadeva, who will be a great philosopher, he'll renounce all material attachment and achieve a life of fearlessness. Text 29. Thus, those who are expert in astrological knowledge and in performance of the birth ceremony instructed King Yudhishthira about the future history of his child. Then, being sumptuously remunerated, they all returned to their respective homes. Text 30. So his son would become famous in the world as Parikshit examiner, because he would come to examine all human beings in his search after that personality whom he saw before his birth. Thus he would come to constantly contemplate him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother. Yeah. Lavanya, please complete this.
Yeah, text 31. As text 31. As the moon in its waxing fortnight develops day after day, so the royal prince Parikshit very soon developed luxuriantly under the care and full facilities of his guardian grandfathers. Text 32. Just at this time, King Yudhishthira was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get freed from sins incurred from fighting with kinsmen. But he became anxious to get some wealth, for there were no surplus funds outside of fines and tax collection. Text 33. Understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, advised by the infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient riches from the north left by King Marutha. Text 34. By those riches, the king could procure the ingredients for 3 horse sacrifices. Thus, the pious king Yudhishthira, who was very fearful after the battle of Kurukshetra, pleased Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. Text 35. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, being invited to the sacrifices by Maharaja Yudhishthira, saw to it that they were performed by qualified twice born Brahmanas. After that, for the pleasure of the relatives, the Lord remained for few months. Text 36. O Shaunaka, thereafter the Lord, having bade farewell to King Yudhishthira, Draupadi, and other relatives, started for the city of Dwaraka, accompanied by Arjuna and other members of the Yadav dynasty. Correct.
Thank you. Yeah, chapter 12. Actually, what is that? Chapter 13 talks about just the Dhritarashtra's quits home. Okay. Sure. Thank you very much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for reading today. And thank you, Lalit Mohan Prabhu, for adding those. Prabhu, I have something, Prabhu. Since last time also, you shared different kingdoms and, the previous, how the different kings ruled this before, after this, Kali Yuga time frame. Then after this different, you have so much historical, readings, and you have done, right, Prabhu? And this also, today's discussion also about the comparison you made. I mean, historians made, out of those 86 years of struggle and 32 years of ruling, and these things, Prabhu, so for historical related and all these kingdoms in a sequence, Prabhuji, can you please explain us? And in a completely 1 hour call will make it. Then try to give some info, Prabhuji. I mean, you have read somewhere, and if you have any slides or that data, so just to understand, how the kingdoms and how they ruled. Last time, you remember, Prabhu, we were having call.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
So, oka chinna pani, Prabhu. Since you have, very interested and personal inclination towards historical, history of this, how they ruled, better to have to understand, Prabhu, a little more. So please keep in mind, and whenever you have, then we will have 1 hour. Let us dedicatedly do that. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we will do. Okay, Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhuji. But I cannot make slides and all for that, Prabhuji.
Okay.
But one thing what I can do is, let us have a rapt attention and listen. That 1 hour call, everyone should know everything. It will be like that. Okay. Complete, it will be general history and how the Bhagavatam gets fit into it.
Yes,
it's like, it will be like that. How we can see through Shastra Chakshu, the same history, and how we can improve the, the belief on Lord Sri Krishna by doing it. That should be the main goal of that. Okay. I'm not that systematic like, software guys like who do it and systematically by presenting the slides and all. I'm not good at it. From the start, initially, I'm a hardware guy. So I'm completely from a different field and all. So I can't do that, Prabhu. Even if I do it, I'll do it very bad. It will not be inspiring, It will not be as a service to Krishna. So let me not do it, Prabhu. But I'll just let, with a proper intention,
ఎట్లా
I will just keep it systematically.
ఎట్లా ఇవ్వాలంటే ప్రభుజీ, జస్ట్ మనం అది రికార్డ్ చేస్తుంటాం కదా, మనం నెక్స్ట్ టైం మనకు ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే రిఫరెన్స్ లాగా ఉండాలి. ఇట్లా ఇట్లా జరిగింది, ఇది ఇది సింగిల్
general historical orientation I will keep till the present age, how it has come. So that we'll never get doubt that, do we have history or it is mythology? That should never happen. Because why this started, once, I started speaking like this mythology in my base. The moment I started that word, there is a person who blasted me left and right. So what history do you know? He started. And he is an IITian actually. IIT Bombay means Powai Kayavu. So he is also interested in these things. So he lambasted me like anything, because he was into from seminars from his childhood about what is the RSS seminars and all. So he gave me left and right bashing, and then he told me some things, and I added. So that's how the discussion happened during our base days. Then we came into a conclusion. Not we. He came into a conclusion according to the geological. I don't know this geological and archaeological, but he added all those things. Then it really made sense for me. Yes. No, this is not a mythology. I should never use that word.
ఈ హిస్టరీ అంటేనే కొంచెం ద డ్రై సబ్జెక్ట్ కదా ప్రభు, మీకు అవన్నీ ఎట్లా గుర్తున్నాయి ప్రభుజీ? ఇవన్నీ అక్కడక్కడ చెప్పేస్తుంటారు.
No, it's a personal inclination, Prabhuji. That's my nature. అది అందరికి రాదు ప్రభు, అది అందరికి రాదు అట్లా. నా నేచర్ ఇది. Some people they have a nature of music, and I cannot do that. So it's like that. This is my, what you say, దాన్ని ఏమంటారు మన భాషలో,
ప్రవృత్తి.
this is my pravrutti, means this is what I am. Now you cannot take this away from me, Prabhuji. Even if you give me Bhagavatam, I will include it in that.
అదే అంటారు మీరు, భలే యాడ్ చేసి చెప్తా ఉంటారు కదా, ఇట్లా జరిగింది హిస్టరీ అని. సో ఇట్స్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ టు నో యాక్చువల్గా. చేయండి ప్రభు, అదొకటి సేవ.
We call it Swabhava. We call it Swabhava. Means in Varnashrama, everyone has Swabhava. Every Varna has their Swabhava. My Swabhava is history, studying history.
ఎస్ ప్రభు, థ్యాంక్ యూ. అదొకటి ఎప్పుడో మీరు మీ స్కెడ్యూల్ బట్టి జస్ట్ గివ్ 1 hour just overview entire thing. Okay Prabhu? Thank you for that Prabhu. So again, let us go through this, what we are going to do today. Prabhu, మీరు చెప్పండి, అది నేర్పిస్తారా ఇది, లేకపోతే మళ్ళీ ఇవి ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయమంటారా?
అంటే ఈ కాల్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరూ మాక్సిమం ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తున్నారు. నిన్న రాత్రి కూడా సంధ్య మాతాజీ పంపించింది. దే ఆర్ ఓకే, దే ఆర్ గుడ్.
దీపా మాతో మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసే అవకాశం దొరికిందా? మాతో చేస్తారా?
చేశాను ప్రభుజీ.
శృత్వాగుణ అని అక్షరవాదం మీరు ఫస్ట్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు అదే ఆ ట్యూన్లు చేయగలుగుతారా మాతో? ఒకసారి మీరు వేయండి, తర్వాత ప్రభుజీ మనకి చేయండి, ఈ రెండు చేయండి.
యాక్చువల్ గా నోరు కొంచెం తిరగట్లేదు, బట్ నేను ట్రై చేస్తాను.
ఇట్స్ ఓకే. జస్ట్ ట్రై.
నౌమిద్యతే ప్రవపుషే తదిదంబరాయ గుంజావతాం సపరిపచ్చలసన్ముఖాయ వన్యస్రజే కవలవేత్ర విషానవేణు లక్ష్మశ్రియే మృతపదే పశుపాంగజాయ. కరెక్టేనా?
వన్యస్రజే కవలవేత్ర విషానవేణు
వన్యస్రజే కవలవేత్ర విషానవేణు లక్ష్మశ్రియే మృతపదే పశుపాంగజాయ.
ఎస్ మాతాజీ, కరెక్టే మాతాజీ.
ఓకే, ఇంకోటి ఏంటది? నౌమిద్యతే భ్రవపుషే తదిదంబరాయ గుంజావతాం సపరిపిచ్చల సన్ముఖాయ వన్యస్రజే కవలవేత్ర విషానవేణు లక్ష్మశ్రియే మృతపదే పశుపాంగజాయ. కరెక్టా?
లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు చెప్పాలి. హరి బోల్. లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు హరి.
ఎస్ మాతాజీ, కరెక్టే అది.
ఓకే. శ్యామం హిరణ్య పరిధిం వనమాయ పరః ధాతు ప్రవాల నటవేషమన అనవ్రతంశే. మళ్ళీ श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यबर्हा धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनव्रतांशे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धनुनां विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धनूनम् अब्जम्
विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जम्
विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जम् कर्णोत्पलालककपोलक मुखाब्जहासम् श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यबर्हा धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनव्रतांशे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जम् कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
అంతే. అంటే మీకు మాతో ప్రాక్టీస్ మాకు కూడా ఫస్ట్ టైం మీరు ఎట్లా తడబడ్డారో ఈ థర్డ్ లైన్ చాలా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి 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 వచ్చిందనమాట. ఇట్స్ ఓకే మాతో చేసి నైస్. ఇంకోసారి చేసి చేయండి, తర్వాత అక్షరవాదం కూడా చేయండి.
हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यबर्हा धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनव्रतांशे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जम् कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
Yes, you can do it. Yes.
श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यबर्हा धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनव्रतांशे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जम् कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्. Correct, Prabhuji?
Yes, correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very good. Yes. So we are all on the same page. Yes. So ఈ ట్యూన్ లో మనము ఫస్ట్ టూ 4 5 6 7 8 మొత్తం 6 శ్లోకాస్ ఆ ట్యూన్లలో యు ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు డూ దట్. నైస్ ప్రభు. ఎస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. యా ప్రభు చేయండి. 9-10 వరకు చేద్దాం ప్రభు. 10 minutes ఫోకస్ చేద్దాం.
Okay, it all depends upon when my wife comes, Prabhuji. If she comes and asks me, let's go, I should go, Prabhu. I'm sorry. But till then, yeah, it happens only till my wife comes and asks me, let us go. I want to go out to drop my child. So till that, we have 5 minutes, Prabhuji. So till that, we will do it. No?
Yes, we'll do that.
So we'll go word by word, Prabhu. Like Barha Pidam. You know, it is said that Barha Pidam means peacock feather as a decoration of his head. You know, na, this story, how he got this peacock, feather. So it is once said when Krishna was doing this Venu Geet, Krishna does his Venu Geet in Mandra Saptak. So there is a tune which is known as Mandra Saptak. So Krishna does this flute, he blows his flute in that meter, and that meter is actually very deep, means very deep and heart touching. It is slow, rhythmic, haunting and deep. That's what the tune is. So what generally happens is everyone becomes stunned. And he passes many messages with that flute to different personalities. And everyone will become very, very, stunned and wrapped with attention. In all this attention and all, there is only one, peacock, one entity, living entity, which is very active. That is peacock. Even the water, they say that they will encircle instead of flowing. The Yamuna water, no? They won't flow. They will circle. They'll make circles there only, just for listening this tune.
అర్థం కాలే, మళ్ళీ చెప్పండి ఏం చేస్తారు అది?
Yeah.
Transform
generally
into
it flows. Yeah, it flows, right? It flows to one direction. But when Krishna makes a flute, the water which is there at that place of Vrindavan will not flow. They will make circles. Because they wanted to listen. They wanted to listen this flute. And the stones.
Okay.
And the stones, they become melted, They start rolling within their own place. And the moving objects like birds, they become stunned and they'll catch their branches very tightly. Because it happened many times that they lose their balance, by listening this flute. While all these things are happening, there is only one entity, living entity, which is actually, which can move limbs. So that is nothing but our peacock. So when Krishna, plays his flute, only one bird could, do this, their activity. They can be in their consciousness. That is peacock. And what they do, Krishna is singing and we are not doing anything. No one is doing anything. Let us do something. So they will dance. Then they will start dancing. So when they start dancing, what happens is all the, they'll, open their Puriputam antar. They'll open their feathers and then they will dance. And Krishna will be so enthusiastic to come in between them. And he will also dance. So then what happens? There is a, whenever the dance happens between two dancers, what happens? There will be a show of strength. Who will do it best? So for the whole night, Krishna will be doing his flute and then dancing. And they will be dancing for the rhythm of the flute. So by the end of the night, this, peacocks say, now we are done, Krishna. We don't have strength. Because we are on this platform, we cannot do more than you. And thank you so much for, you rhythming us. You dancing in the rhythm of ours. And as we are birds, we don't have anything to give except our eka, our feather. So it is said that, Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. All those four things are even greater than this feather. Feather is nothing. Means whatever is left over in the body, then we are giving that Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. They are not the leftovers. They are the part of the living things, living ones. But this is the leftover. That has been offered to Krishna. And what does he do? Nithin Betkunadam. And Nithin Betkunadam, generally, what is the Nithin Betkunadam? We are giving a lot of rapt attention to them. That's what it is, keeping on our head. But Krishna, even that insignificant thing, he has taken it and keep it on our head, on his own head. So from that day on, they don't, they couldn't give back, they are so grateful. These peacocks are so grateful. And whenever we see, if there is a peacock feather anywhere, what will we remember? We remember Krishna only. The other thing which we remember by Krishna is the flute. So these two are very, very, very important, And how they are important? One is by, the most insignificant thing which has been offered to Krishna, but he keep it on his head. That is what Krishna is actually. So this is what Baraha Pidam means. So this is why gopis kept this word, in the start. And if you see the Naumidya Te Brisha, what has come in front? Naumidya means Namami, means offering to you. But here, gopis are telling, no, it is Baraha Pidam. Even if you are give the most insignificant thing to him, I nittimid pettukuntadu anamata adi kuda. Because you offered them with love. And this is what actually the Baraha Pidam, means. Prabhu, now my wife has come. I should go. I should leave. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak on this word.
Yes, we'll do tomorrow. Okay, Prabhu? Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji and Mataji, thank you so much for joining today. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakuti Vaishnavvrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Yeah, see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.